The late Victorian period produced some truly interesting characters, including General Jacobs. Here's a man who was a soldier on the frontier of India, but also he took time to design a double-barreled rifle and exploding bullets.
John Jacob had fought with the Scinda Irregular Horse, which was a detached unit of cavalry in the army of the East India Company. And at the time they were using smoothbore, double-barreled shotguns, basically. And he thought that the best weapon that the irregular horse could use would be a double-barreled, large-bore rifle.
Initially, at the time that Jacob was interested in this sort of endeavor, the main British rifle was the Brunswick. The Brunswick was an interesting rifle. It had a two-groove bore. The ball itself had an actual ring around the ball that actually mechanically fit into the two grooves. Jacob said, well, this is okay, but it's aerodynamically unstable. So he came up with a ball with kind of a crisscross groove, with 4 grooves. He said, well, the ball itself is not actually the perfect projectile either. So he came up with a conical projectile, hence the beginning of his Jacob rifle.
So the thing you have to remember about the inside of a muzzle-loading rifle barrel is you have to have a way to seal the breech. With smoothbore muzzleloaders, you never really get a good seal, therefore you don't develop high velocity and you don't get good accuracy. But if you can find a way to seal the bore and then also a way to rifle the barrel, you're going to get more energy, you're going to get more accuracy. And that's what General Jacob was trying to accomplish.
The gun was unique in the fact that it was a double rifle of the military caliber .577, but the neat thing about it was the rifling itself. It took a bullet that had fins on it that actually threaded itself into the rifling of the gun. And this gave the gun an expanded range and an amazing accuracy.
So British General John Jacob was just a really interesting guy. By the late 1850s, he's come up with the design and has actually trialed it, tested experimental versions of it, and sent the design off to Swinburn Sons in London to be made for his unit of cavalry. He's going to have 900 of these guns made to outfit a regiment of cavalry.
Unfortunately, he died of exhaustion in 1858, just as his process was going on by the Swinburn Company back in England.
As soon as he died, the East India Company said, this is nonsense. We don't want a special force armed with these complicated arms. We've got better guns that are cheaper and a lot easier for the regular troops to use. Consequently, they were sent back into stores and eventually sold surplus. Lots of these guns you see modified into Cape rifles. I've seen some that have been completely smoothbored. They have different type rear sights. The bayonet lugs are taken off. And so these were carried on in the hunting field much longer than they were actually used by the military.